Today on CityCast DC, Michael and Bridget have handed the mic over to us, CityCast DC's single ladies, for this special episode about how to date in DC.
Spoiler alert, it's hard, and we could use some help. So we've dialed in dating coach Erica Etten.
You might know her as A Little Nudge on Instagram, and she's here to walk us through everything from setting up your dating profile to what you should say after a date.
Whether it's gone good or really bad.
It's Thursday, January 26th, 2023. I'm lead producer Priyanka Tilve.
And I'm newsletter editor Kayla Cody Stemmerman. This is CityCast DC. Erica Etten from A Little Nudge, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And we also have Priyanka Tilve here. She's our lead producer.
Hello.
And we are going to be chatting about how to use dating apps, especially in DC. And obviously, DC is full of single people, and we're sure they all want your advice or some advice. And that's what we're trying to deliver. You know, I read somewhere that you should try to go on at least like 2 dates with somebody to give them a chance before you kind of decide on them. Is that true? Or is there deal breakers on a first date that should really give you, the red flag, the green flag about what to do?
So I recommend going on a second date with someone if you're not sure. Basically, if you want to have one more conversation with this person, if you're at all curious to learn anything more about them, that's it. It's not, do I see a future with this person? It's not, is this person going to be my spouse? Is this person going to be the parent of my future child? No, none of that. It's just, do I want to have one more conversation? Yeah, of course there are reasons not to go on a second date. Someone's rude to you, to a server, someone, I don't know, who knows? We've all been on a date where we know there is no second date. One guy once made fun of my accent the entire date.
Oh my God.
First of all, I'm from New Jersey, thank you. And second, oh, really? And second, are we children?
Yeah,
that gets old real fast.
So, sometimes you just know. And sometimes you walk in and you know you will never be attracted to this person. I'm not going to force people to go on a second date. So, the criteria for a second date should simply be, obviously, if you want to, you go, but should simply be, oh, okay, I want to have one more conversation. And if that second date proves that this person isn't for you, that was still useful. And maybe they'll pleasantly surprise you.
Yeah. That's good advice. All right. Well, I guess, on the flip side of that is you're single in DC, the months are going by, you're going on a lot of dates, and you're getting rejected a lot because it's inevitable that most of them are not going to work out. How do you handle that rejection and not take it personally, keep up your confidence, and stay in the dating scene?
I don't have any magic words other than to say it is hard and it's a numbers game. And so it's also just keeping it in perspective. These things do take time. You have standards. Other people have standards. And then there's chemistry, the wild card. And so, don't quit after 6 bad dates because number 7 could be a really good one. We just don't know. And it's a cumulative process. That's not to say it's not frustrating and exhausting sometimes. And to the extent that you need to, take breaks because the last thing you want is to be putting yourself out there when you're really jaded and angry and not your best self. But I would be more concerned if you fell in love with every first date. I would rather that you do have standards and that most people in life are not going to be your people, and that's okay.
Yeah, definitely not my problem. Falling in love on a first date.
I've had clients who every first date, they're like, oh my God. I'm like, let's calm down. Let's talk about it.
Well, let's talk through this process a little bit, right? So I guess the first thing would be building out your profile.
Sure.
Do you have tips for what questions people should or shouldn't answer? What photos they should or shouldn't use? I know you're a big proponent of the voice notes on Hinge.
Voice notes. I hate those.
Yeah. Kayla and I are both a little gun shy, which is funny because we're here on a podcast.
I know. I do like hearing people's voice, though. I feel like that kind of does make a difference for me.
They want to hear yours, too. Okay, so let's start with the pictures. Pictures are the first thing. They're the gateway, the entryway into your profile. If someone doesn't like your first picture, they're not getting to the rest of the profile. So the first picture on every site or app needs to be just a nice, clear shot of your face. Show what you look like. Not blurry, not tiny, not with friends.
Not your back.
Not your back, not
Not
your
a fish.
profile, not a dog that's not even yours.
Oh, that's such a tease. I hate when people do that.
Dog fishing.
Dog fishing. Picture of you. Next one should be a full body shot of you. Let's not make people guess because they're never going to guess in a positive way. Another one, you doing something interesting. You both have a podcast. Maybe your interesting picture is you
This
right
could
now
be it.
with a microphone. If you take a picture with that, it looks like you're doing something interesting, and then it generates questions. Do you have a podcast? What are you doing in that picture? That way, the other person feels brilliant for having asked you a relevant question, but really, you're brilliant because you planted it there. So everybody wins. And then the other two, I like 5 total, except on Hinge, which requires 6. The other 2 should just be you and your element. Should you be with friends? No. I know there's a lot of competing advice about that out there.
Really? So no pictures with friends?
You can crop friends out. In fact, cropping friends out is great.
Brutal.
It shows that you're out and about, but we don't want anyone comparing you to your friends, number 1. And 2, no one takes the time to figure out, oh, is she second, third, fourth from you?
Yeah.
So go ahead, crop out your friends. Heck, I'll crop them out for you. And then here's a little pro tip. There's this free app called SquareFit that turns things into a square that basically just puts a border around pictures to make it a square so you can upload it on any dating site. If you just put a border around it to make it into a square, it shows that border on the website, but at least it's showing the full picture.
Right.
Anyway,
That is a pro tip.
What's your favorite dating app?
I don't have favorites. I think you can be successful or unsuccessful at any of them. Really is based on what you're putting out there, the profile, the pictures, and how proactive you are. I mean, just like with the gym, right? If you pay money but never set foot in a gym, you're not going to reach your health goals. But same thing.
Feel
I mean,
attacked.
Yeah, if you put a bunch of junk up on Bumble and never swipe, probably not going to work for you. So I don't have favorites. I will say the most popular right now are Bumble and Hinge.
Yeah.
As for the profile, I know you asked about that too. As for the profile, Hinge, for example, has those 3 prompts. You have to answer all of them, which is good. My 2 favorite prompts are my simple pleasures. And I like that because you only get 150 characters. You can make a list. So what are do each of you have a simple pleasure? We'll write one together now.
Making coffee in the morning.
What kind of coffee? Anything specific?
French press.
Ooh, okay. How about you, Kayla?
I don't know, like cracking into a new book.
Perfect. So we might write my simple pleasures, French press coffee in the morning, and then maybe you put in parentheses like not functional before that. And then we put weird sound of the spine cracking on a new book. And then I'll add one of mine. Okay. It's these potato chips I recently found at Trader Joe's, the dill pickle flavored potato chips. So I might list, dill flavored, Trader Joe's, or I might just say Trader Joe's and then put in parentheses like the dill flavored chips are everything. And so you can list a bunch of stuff. I also like 2 truths and a lie because people like to win. And so you give them a contest they want to win. It doesn't have to be like rocket science or anything. It could just be 3 things about your life. Like, I'm the oldest of 3 children. I'm left-handed. I have family in London.
I feel like that one, though, like, people, like, I get the sense that people are just trying to show off.
Well, you're not going to do... Oldest of 3 children is not showing off. Left-handed is not showing off.
Just use it properly.
Yeah. I mean, or if you had an interesting experience once. Like, I ran into... I'm making this up. I ran into Jennifer Aniston at the Louvre. I don't know. I mean, is that really that braggy? Most people have been to... Not most people. Many people have been to Paris. And so you can get creative with that one. And for the lie, always make it like a partial truth. So if someone asks, at least you can say, I ran a marathon, even if you never did. If that's the lie, you could be like, no, but I ran from someone chasing me once. Just something cute. And then for the last one, I like one of the ones about what you're looking for. So they offer we'll get along if. You could be serious there. Like, we'll get along if you're, whatever, an active listener, go to therapy. And then I always like to end it with something cute. Like, and you think peanut butter should be its own food group. And you think people who don't like dogs are weirdo. I
The
made
worst.
that up, and that's negative actually. So change it to the positive, but you get the point. You have
Yeah.
a small amount of space, so 450 characters total. Use it well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. It's so clear that you do this for a living because I feel like most people sit around like spending hours trying to come up with one example to put down. And you just like rattle
oh my God,
them off.
the quotes, they kill me. I'm like, oh, I want to sound smart and clever and cool, but I just don't know. It's
I'd
so much
rather you
pressure.
just sound like you. So many people ask me, well, I want to write in such a way that attracts the person I'm looking for.
Huh.
Mhm.
Well, no, because we don't know what the person you're looking for is attracted to. So I would rather you be you. I
Yeah.
have a lot of clients and they say, well, I want to write the things that these professional, successful men want. I don't know what they want. We just don't know. So the best thing you can do is just be yourself. The weirder, the quirkier, the better. No, I like to laugh and have fun. I like to go out and stay in. Whoop-de-doo. I like to dress up and dress down. I'd rather read the things about you that make you unique, even if it doesn't get to like the core of your being. Who cares? That'll come out.
So when you're going through dating apps, there's so many choices, right?
Yes.
Even if you have some criteria, there's still going to be a sea out there. How do you choose? It seems so arbitrary to me.
It is arbitrary. I mean, beyond your whatever basic criteria, maybe age and location, and if anything else is important to you, it is arbitrary. It's who you feel any attraction to. It's who's writing you like. Err on the side of saying yes to more people. What's the worst that happens?
Yeah,
The answer?
that's fair.
You're not committing to anything. You go on a date?
Yeah.
Then what's the worst? You don't like each other? And then what's the worst? You go home and watch Netflix? Like, that's not the end of the world.
When's the right time to move things forward?
Oh,
like
this I can
when
answer.
do you go from the date? When do you go from the app to the text to the text to the date? You know.
Okay,
what's
first
the-
of all, I'm going to correct
Yeah.
that. I actually do not recommend texting before a date.
Oh, okay.
Which I know is like, woo, controversial. I call texting the death of the first date. And here's why.
What?
Well, because has it happened where someone's like, oh my God, it's so much easier to text off this app. Let's move there. And then either they don't, or it turns into
I have
like,
had that happen.
how are you? How are you? I'm fine. I'm tired. I'm doing laundry. I'm working. Or they say something that you would rather not read. Maybe it's inappropriate, or maybe it's just dumb, or maybe it is misconstrued. So I just consider texting another obstacle to getting to the date. So I would rather you just go right from the app to the date. If people are like, oh, I'm not going to notice it, then turn on your notifications. So if someone says, oh, here's my number, let's plan that way, I would actually recommend saying, actually, I'm not a huge texter before I've met someone, but I'm free next week if you want to meet.
Yeah.
That way it's less of a declining of the number, but it's more of an upgrade.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also recommend if you do drink socially, alcohol, put in your profile what you like to drink. That's a little dating hack, because that way it makes it really easy for someone to ask you out and to ask you what to do. So, for example, I have a client in San Francisco who like loves Negronis. I don't even know what's in a Negroni, but every date it's like, oh, I know the best place for a Negroni. And she's having a ball because it's so easy for them to ask her out. Specific as possible. Not, I like wine. I like red wine. I like red wine from France. I went to France once and discovered Burgundy. I don't know. I personally like bourbon. So I might say, I like a bourbon old-fashioned with a huge ice cube. Which is true. So
good to know.
Noted.
Yeah, the next time we want to pick your
We're
brain, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, I should be so lucky. So I do recommend that. And then everything in the conversation should be getting closer to a date. So while you're trying to get to know this person a little bit, you're really just trying to inch closer to a date. Now, let's say you get to a point where you're like, oh my God, I'm tired of texting with this person on the app. It's going nowhere. I can't tell if they want to meet me or not. Just remember that most people are clueless and don't know when it's appropriate to take it off the app. So you might have to say, hey, I'm really enjoying our conversation. Should we meet for a drink next week? Or I'm really enjoying this. Where should we go from here?
Yeah.
Or much better story told in person. I'm around this weekend if you are.
I have a dating dilemma for you, just briefly. went on a couple dates with somebody, went really well, really like hit it off on the date, very charismatic. I thought things were going really well. Texted a tiny bit in between, but really just to set up the next date.
Okay.
And since then, like,
did you go on the second date yet?
We did go on the second date.
Okay.
And I asked him both times, but he was extremely enthusiastic, seemed very into it on the date. And then after, like, I haven't really heard from him at all. The holidays have been going on. Totally get people are busy. But I'm tired of initiating. I feel like I've initiated everything and he hasn't really reached out. But I thought it was really great and I really liked hanging out with him. What do I do now? Do I reach out again?
He doesn't know you want him to initiate because you have initiated both dates. So in his mind, you love initiating because he doesn't know otherwise.
I hate initiating. Yeah, okay.
And so if you do a thing, it's assumed you like to do that thing. Now, I will say, that said, if someone's really into you, they will reach out. My favorite way to ask for clarification is starting a sentence with, I can't tell. So like, hey, I can't tell from our text if you were wanting to meet again. I had a really good time on our second date.
Yeah. Yeah.
So simple.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. That's exactly what I needed.
Write it down. Asking for clarification is always a good idea.
Yeah.
Because the worst that happens is you don't get the answer you want.
I was going to say, like, one of the things I love about your Instagram account at A Little Nudge is the fact that you have these kinds of templates with all sorts of tips for how people can either move things along or reject if that's what they're trying to do.
Yep.
How did you get into this business and where can people learn more about everything that you do?
Well, first of all, thank you for the compliment. I'm so glad the templates have been useful for so many people. Anyway, how did I get into this? Well, long story short, I actually used to be an economist. I studied economics. I have a business degree, but I was a really early adopter of online dating. I'm not even going to tell you what year because it was embarrassingly early, 2001. And over the years, I combined my two loves, online dating and spreadsheets. And I started tracking my own online dating stuff.
Wow.
Initially, I started the spreadsheet so I didn't accidentally write to the same person twice. Because, before the apps were out, you came up with these silly usernames and blah, blah, fun guy 12. And so I didn't want to accidentally reach out to the same person. But then I was like, haha, I can measure things in here. What's my response rate? What's my conversion rate?
Oh my gosh.
I know, real nerd alert.
No, I love it.
And then friends started asking me for help. And one thing led to another. And I was like, I really didn't care for my job in finance. And I really enjoyed helping friends. So I started A Little Nudge in 2011, actually, before Tinder.
Wow.
And yeah, and you can find me anywhere at A Little Nudge, alittle.nudge.com, Instagram. The Instagram always gets a really interesting conversation going depending on what I post. So that's always fun. And I'm pretty easy to find. Erica.
Great. Well, Erica, thank you so much for doing this. I have a whole new perspective and we're so excited to have you on the pod and hopefully we'll have you on again soon.
That sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank
Erica.
you. Bye. Hey there, lead producer Priyanka Tilve here with our One Good Deed segment. Every month on CityCast DC, we are celebrating a local Good Samaritan, someone who's done something good for the community, and it's all sponsored by Car Care to Go. So here I'm with Bronwyn Beatty. Bronwyn, tell me what your story is.
Thank you so much. My story is that I lost my wallet. And so on Halloween night, I was leaving Capo Deli and got in the Uber, and on the way back in the Uber, I reached in to pull my keys out and fully realized my wallet was not there. There were very few places that it could be, so my friends were in the Uber, no wallet, and so I was pretty upset, especially at 2 a.m. after partying all night, and decided to just accept that maybe my wallet was gone. But around 5 a.m., I woke up a bit anxious and upset still. And so, but then I got a Facebook message and I was like, why is this man messaging me? I don't know him. Like, what's happening?
Always alarming.
Always a little alarming. But I got the message asking, hi, like, My name is Mike. I see that you have a Washington State ID. I don't know if this is your wallet, but I have it here at Capo Deli. I am the main bouncer. Like, please let me know if I am bothering you. I'm so sorry, but if it is your wallet, it's at Capo Deli in the back. And I was overjoyed. I went to Capo Deli in the next morning, and they were extremely friendly about it. And overall, it made me feel that there was somebody looking out for me.
That is so sweet.
It was very sweet. Did I learn my lesson? Nope. I lost my wallet again at Johnny Pistola's, but I did get it back again. But Capo Deli was extremely professional, and so was Mike. So shout out to him.
That's really sweet. Well, as you know, we always give out a prize. So we're going to be getting in touch with Mike Ghazi. The prize is either $50 to a local restaurant or shop of his choice, or a free car detailing through Car Care to Go. So thank you for nominating him. I'm sure he's going to be really excited about this unexpected gift.
Yeah, happy to. And really recommend going there and just having a fun time. So yeah, thanks again, Mike.
So as I mentioned, One Good Deed is sponsored by Car Care to Go, DC's most convenient and trusted way to repair and service your vehicle. Car Care to Go combines the quality of a full service mechanic with a uniquely transparent process. Plus, they will pick up and drop off your car from your home or work. To help us get into the good deed mood, they're providing a good deed of their own. Your first synthetic oil change is now just $20.23 when you book on carcaretogo.com.
And before you head out, some quick news. According to the American Lung Association, nearly 1 in 4 high schoolers in Maryland and Virginia are using tobacco in some way. This includes cigarettes, e-cigarettes, and vaping. Both states could take a lesson from DC in how to regulate tobacco, since the district has scored so well in nearly every category related to smoking. You can check out the link to each state's report card in our show notes. Meanwhile, volunteer and street outreach workers fanned out across DC and its suburbs last night to count people experiencing homelessness. The point-in-time count is meant to inform DC Council's funding decisions regarding the unhoused community. The census often leads to an undercount, but advocates say it still provides a useful snapshot of who is living outside and what support they need. And lastly, Maryland's General Assembly is considering launching a pilot program to study the effects of a 4-day work week. The 2-year program would provide a tax incentive for companies to shift at least 30 employees to a 32-hour work week. Previous studies found the 4-day week improved work and family engagement and increased revenue.
That's all for today here on CityCast DC. If you enjoyed the show, tell your single friends, aka everyone in DC, and subscribe to our morning newsletter too. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye!
Or your dog in the middle of a podcast. Sorry.
And our time is up.
Oh my god. He has strong feelings about that advice.